All righty. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to episode number 8 of Doug's Dugout. It is the World Series edition. And once again, in the co-hosting chair, we've got Mr. Doug Blunt. Doug, welcome back.
Hey, well, welcome to be back. I'm glad to be back.
How do you like the weather?
It's getting a little bit better. The only trouble is that it still stays about 88 or so at 4:30, 5 o'clock. So it only gives us about 90 minutes to ride the bike before it gets
I
too
was
dark.
I was going to ask you if you had any kind of lights on your bike.
We do, and we do a lot of night riding out here, but the mosquitoes and the bugs are so bad right now because of all the rain we've had.
Oh yeah, believe me, I'm contributing to that. My pool right now is greener than a resaca. It's probably greener
Uh,
than the golf course there where you're at.
yeah, it's pretty green. But yeah, the mosquitoes are pretty bad. Matter of fact, when we get done riding, as soon as we get done, we pull our bikes in the garage, ride our bikes in the garage, and I just shut the door right away instead of keeping the door open
Oh wow.
because the mosquitoes are so bad.
Yeah.
Not as bad as it was last week,
Yeah.
but
Did
you
you
know,
uh
but
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Did you get to see the launch on Monday?
I did. We just got done we left a little early, and we, is we got to see the rocket go over our house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
it
a
was up
pretty
there.
successful launch.
Yeah, successful launch.
Yeah. The won't
Yeah.
the next one won't be until sometime in February because they're redoing the launch pad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what's going to
Which one?
happen is,
They still going to
well,
use pad one or pad two?
they're going to use pad 2, but they're going to convert pad 1 and add a flame trench, which pad 2 already has. So
Okay.
they're going to be using pad 2 for the next iteration of the ship. So,
And it's a different block of Starship, right? This
right,
next
it's
one.
going to be block 3. Right. Yeah, they
Okay.
kind of really stressed the vehicle this time around. Instead of the full 33 Raptor engines, I believe they went with 22. And then
Yeah, I
they
think so.
also
Yeah.
took off some tiles from
Saw
the
that
actual
too.
ship. Yeah. So, and of course, Elon photobombed the broadcast, right? In the middle of it. So he looked pretty happy. A lot happier than being in Washington, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
We were just
go ahead.
talking about that. We're so happy that he's not in politics anymore.
Oh yeah,
You
he
know.
just needs to
You
focus on
know.
his companies, right? So,
I think he's
I
happier doing that. This country, But yeah, like those tiles are, of course, they're much different than they were on the shuttle. But when I worked at Northrop on the B2, a lot of our people, including my boss, okay, he was in charge of putting the tiles on the shuttle because
yeah,
Rockwell, okay, the arbiter, the shuttle arbiter was made by a company called Rockwell,
correct.
okay, and they got absorbed by Boeing eventually. Okay, but but it was right next door to the B2.
Right.
Okay, and so a lot of guys, when the shuttle program ended, a lot of guys came from the shuttle program over to the B2 program.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and my boss was one of them, and he was in charge of manufacturing and putting those tiles on the shuttle.
Yeah.
And that was, as a matter of fact, that helped him get the job at Northrop because he had experience putting the tiles on the shuttle,
Well,
and he
one of
was
the
always telling horror
things
stories.
one of the things that they mentioned on Monday was that they're building a what they called a tile bakery at the Cape in Florida. So what's going to
Oh,
happen,
really?
they're going to put the rockets together here, and then they're going to ship those across the Gulf, and then they're going to install
The
the
Gulf of
tiles there.
America,
The Gulf of America. That's right.
and then
So,
ship it back?
and then no, 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 because the commercial launches will be in Florida, and then we're going to have the test launches, right? So,
Oh, okay.
so the
Okay.
commercial vehicles that are built here will be loaded on barges and shipped over the Gulf over to Florida, and then it's there where they're going to apply the ceramic tiles.
You know, it's going to get kind of crowded in that Gulf of America out there with the LNG and SpaceX shipping barges back and forth like that.
I know, but we'll see.
Yeah,
All righty.
Diva asked a question today. How long do you think it'll take them to get the shopping center and all that stuff out there at Muskville?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, they've got the houses for the so-called executives already built. So
Yeah.
that piece is supposed to be right next to it. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But I haven't heard any more. Haven't heard any more activity.
And
So
don't they have to put a water treatment plant out there too? They got to have their
they're
own
working on
water
that.
now too, right?
They're
They're
working
working
on
on
that.
that
Yep, they are working on the
because
water
Cameron
treatment.
County back in the old days, in Cameron County, they used to carry the water out to the residents out there, right?
They did. They
And
still
then
do. They
and this
stopped
summer
it.
they stopped that.
Right, but then something happened and they resumed the water deliveries again.
Mm.
So they're getting their water again. You know. So, but yeah, it's kind of crazy, right?
Okay.
That for decades these people were getting water trucked into that area. You know. So,
Uh, you know, stranger than
all right.
fiction in the Rio Grande Valley, the Rio Grande
That's right.
Valley.
That's right. All right, Doug. So we are in the championship phase of the playoffs. So what's going on? We'll go ahead and flip to that other screen. Give me a second. Yeah, but you can keep on
Okay.
talking.
Okay. You know the playoff. You know as there used to be a baseball manager. I think his name used to be when the Cubs won the World Series. Joe something. He used to call it the tournament. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's moving right along. You know, I'm kind of surprised that we want to start American League or National League.
Either one. American, since it's on the
Uh,
left.
Okay. I don't get the chance. I don't get a chance to watch the American League games because they're on. I think they're on ESPN. I think, or no, they're on Fox. I don't get Fox. Okay. I just watch the highlights on YouTube at the end of the game or during the game.
You're the second
Okay.
person that tells me they can't get Fox.
Well, because nobody has cable TV anymore.
I know, but couldn't
Okay.
you get a high def antenna or something?
Yeah, but who wants to put up with this? Out here in the Colonial, we can't put anything on the roof. That's what I call this place now. Diva says, you shouldn't be called this place the projects. It's too nice to be the projects. And I said, okay, I'll call it the Colonial. And she's, what's that Colonial?
All right.
And we all know what that means, right?
Yeah, we do.
There's a huge Colonial down around Houston, which is
Oh yeah.
another story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right.
so and nobody wants to pay for cable anymore. So everybody does YouTube.
Right.
Okay. Now, during the season, people watch MLB. They get the MLB app, but on YouTube. But the only trouble is that YouTube TV is so damn expensive. It's like $77 a month.
Right.
Okay. You can get Fox on YouTube TV. Okay. But it's $77 a month. So, you know, so that's the reason why, MLB is hurting themselves by doing that way. They need to
Right.
get the games all available and for free, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and but so I don't watch the American League teams, but I do watch the National League teams because their Turner Broadcasting and HBO Max, they have a deal worked out. Okay, so you can
Hmm.
watch those games on HBO Max.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, getting over to the American League, you know, Seattle is cleaning house, man. I mean, they got
Yeah.
a 2 game lead. They got a 2 game lead, and they're going into Seattle. So I expect Toronto to probably win tonight.
Okay. They're
Okay,
playing tonight,
I
right?
expect, yeah, and but
Let's see where they're at. Let me
I
grab my phone. Let's see.
right now it's 2-0 Toronto. Okay,
So
we're in the
Toronto's
bottom of the
ahead.
fourth. Yeah, we're in the bottom of the fourth. J Rod's been hot, hotter than a firecracker. So that's what they needed. It was J Rod to get hot, and Cal Raleigh, their catcher, has been hot all year. Okay,
Yeah.
so that and we can talk about all the ex Cardinals on the team. They
Hmm.
got a pretty good team. Okay, and
Toronto.
so no, Seattle.
Seattle's. Yeah.
Yeah, Seattle. So I predict Seattle to win. Especially now they'll play in Seattle the next 3 games. So
Hmm.
Seattle's only got to win 2 out of 3.
Right.
And so they've won the pennant.
Yeah. Now,
And then
right
they
now,
go on to the
Toronto's
World
ahead,
Series.
right? Right now, Toronto's ahead.
No, Seattle's ahead. Seattle's ahead
Really?
by J Rod's homer. Yeah, 2-0.
No.
No, I'm looking at it right now, Danny.
Oh,
I take that back.
no.
It's 6-2 Toronto. It's 6-2. It's
Yeah.
6-2 Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah. So Toronto's ahead right
Yeah,
now.
so it looks like we'll see what happens on that. But then Seattle's got home team advantage. So, we'll see
Now,
what
can
happens.
you explain to me, because you're the historian,
Okay.
how in the world do we have a Canadian team in American baseball? Can you explain that one to me?
Well, back in the day, okay, the Dodgers have always had a Canadian Triple A minor league team.
Okay.
Okay. That's where Jackie Robinson, if you go back to the 50s or back to the 40s, that's where Jackie Robinson got called up from the majors
Ah,
in Montreal. Okay. And because obviously Jackie Robinson couldn't play in the South, right?
right.
At that time.
Right.
Okay. So the Dodgers had a Triple A team up in Canada. He did really well up there, so Branch Rickey brought him up. So they've always had a Montreal team and some Canadian baseball. So what happened was an expansion about 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I think it was like 1980. They put a major league team in Montreal called the Expos,
Oh, I
right?
remember that. Right.
Yeah, and they played they went all the way in the early 90s. They won a world championship, and they had some superstars like Joe Carter and Andre Dawson and some other people. Okay, and so but they didn't draw very well. So the ownership got sold the team, and they sold to some team and they kind of didn't have a home for about a year or so. They played in Florida, and then they played in Havana and
Oh
Puerto
wow.
Rico, and they ended up in Washington, D.C. as the Nationals. They changed the name to the Nationals.
Okay.
Okay, so that took care of Montreal. So what happened was that they expanded again, and so they said the Canadians said we need a new team. We got to have a baseball team. So Major League Baseball they decided, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll forget about Montreal this time. Okay, we'll go to Toronto. So they put the Toronto Blue Jays in there, and that's the
Wow.
reason why. Yeah, because
Well,
the
do you
city of
think?
Toronto,
Yeah.
huh?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
The city of Toronto, of the taxpayers, they built this huge stadium with a hotel on the inside.
Ah.
So you can actually book a room, a suite at the stadium, and it's around the field.
Wow.
Yeah, very beautiful park. It's a very beautiful park, and so so that's where the Toronto Blue Jays play. Okay. Now during the COVID, they couldn't cross the border because
Right.
of COVID with the Canadian government, so they played in Buffalo, New York. So they
Oh
found a
wow.
minor league. They found a minor league team. Well, their minor league team had a stadium in Buffalo, and so the Blue Jays played their home games in Buffalo, New York
Wow.
during COVID. Yeah,
Wow.
but that's the reason why, because of Toronto Blue Jays,
So, do you
because they
think if Toronto were to somehow make it and win the World Series, you think Trump would recognize them as an American team, especially now with the relationship the way it is
just
with
as long as it's
Canada,
50, just as long as the 51st state,
right?
But that might sound crazy in Canada,
Uh,
but I was listening to Glenn Beck. I listen to Glenn Beck when I'm riding my bike because I can't, you know, I got to be careful at home when I'm watching sometimes. And but they had a guy on there that there's some Canadians. There's a lot of Canadians that want to succeed from Canada,
right, especially the
especially out of,
Quebecans. The Quebecans.
and the Albertans out there at Alberta.
Yeah,
Okay, they don't want anything to do with Canada.
yeah,
Okay, and they have that's where all the oil reserves are at.
yeah.
Okay, because that's the oil, all the that's where all the oil at, and they're voting on that in next spring to succeed from Canada.
Wow.
And this
What?
this
What?
representative said that they would welcome joining the United States.
Wow. Well, there's always been talk about an expansion team in Mexico, but it's always just been talk. You know.
Well, you could go back there again. You go back to history. Okay, they tried playing Major League Baseball down in Mexico, and right after World War II, when everybody was coming back from the war, okay, there was a so-called rich Mexican businessman, and this was about 1948, 1949 or so, and he went around and he rated all the major league teams for ball players and started a league down there. And one of the Cardinals lost their a pitcher, and there was two brothers, the Cooper brothers, good ball players. They lost them. They took the money and went down there. And Satchel Paige, he went down there, and there was quite a few other ball players went down there. Well, the commissioner said, if you go down to Mexico, we're going to ban you for life to play in the major leagues. And they said the players didn't care; they wanted the money. The old story is that this businessman had a meeting with Stan Musial in St. Louis at the Chase Park Plaza. They went into a hotel room, and there was a suitcase full of money sitting on the bed in cash. And Stan says, "What's this for?" And this Mexican businessman said, "That's all your. If you come down to Mexico and play ball, this is your money. You can have the suitcase." And Stan says, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to leave St. Louis." So Stan didn't go down there, and
Wow.
they played baseball down there for a couple of years, and naturally the league folded. So there's
Right.
always been talk of Mexican baseball.
Right.
Okay, and then a couple of years ago, when I was working, the Cardinals played Cincinnati in Monterey, regular
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Okay, if you remember that. And I
Right.
tried like the Dickens to get somebody to go with me to Monterey to watch the Cardinals play because I
Yeah.
didn't want to go by myself. Nobody'd go.
Wow.
And I tried people from Mexico to go with me,
Right. I'm
and they wouldn't
surprised
go.
nobody from Plant 5 didn't want to go.
Yeah, I asked people on Plan 5 to go. They wouldn't go. So there's been a lot of baseball. Now I do expect a team down in Puerto Rico
Yeah.
and maybe Havana.
Yeah.
If the government changes in Havana, I think you'll see Major League Baseball down there.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, because it's a well-known fact that Fidel Castro was a one of the best baseball players around
Yeah. Yeah. I've read about that.
when he was a younger man. Yeah, when
Yep.
he was a younger man.
Yeah.
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 And he was always a big supporter. That's the reason why he had so many good Cuban baseball players because he believed in baseball down there. Baseball's big in Havana
Yeah.
and Puerto Rico, the Dominican
Right.
Republic. So, you
Right.
know, Haiti, we won't even talk about Haiti, but but so I look for an expansion. They go to Japan, it's going to be kind of hard to do,
Right.
but
Right.
there's a lot of Japanese ball players over here now.
Yeah. Otani is one of
And
them,
the
right?
Dodgers have three ball. See, the Dodgers have Yamamoto and Otani, and I think they have a third.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and so, but
So
there's
even
pretty good
though,
baseball in Japan.
yeah, so even though the Blue Jays right now are ahead, you think that Seattle will still pull it off tonight?
They if they get Cal Raleigh up there with the bases loaded or something, they have a good chance. But they may lose to but,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the odds are on Seattle's favor. It's
Right.
hard to come down. Seattle's got 2 games to 0. It's hard for a team to come back after being down that long.
Right.
But
Right.
it's happened.
Right.
Minnesota beat the Cardinals back in '87 that way. Cardinals were ahead 3 games to 0, nothing, and
Right.
Minnesota came back. So it does happen.
Yeah, my
But I
dog's
think
appear to be
Seattle's. I
going
think Seattle's
crazy.
got a better team. I think Seattle's got a better team.
Yeah. So you still believe that Seattle will take it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And how about on the National League side, Doug?
Well, we're in. I, I would love to see Milwaukee beat the Dodgers,
Right.
mainly because Milwaukee's a small market team and Dodgers have got an unlimited checkbook. Okay. And
Right.
so it'd be nice to get somebody in there that doesn't have a whole lot of money and doesn't go out and buy all the ball players. But Milwaukee had their chance, and the Brew Crew was in Milwaukee for 2 games, and they lost both games.
Right.
So now we're going to play tomorrow in L.A. Okay, and on the Dodgers' home turf, if Otani doesn't hurt you, Freddie Freeman will hurt you. If Freddie
Yeah.
Freeman doesn't kill you, Tommy Edman kills you, and
Yeah.
or Mookie Wilson. So they got a team. They're so deep with talent. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I'm picking the Dodgers to win that, even though I'd like to see Milwaukee win.
Yeah. So your crystal
But I think
ball,
that
your crystal ball says that it's going to be a Seattle versus LA World Series.
yeah, that's going to be a West Coast series. I think. Now, there's some luck if Milwaukee comes out there and wins 3 games, then it has to come back to Milwaukee, well, there's a good chance. But the networks wouldn't want that. Okay, the networks want okay because Milwaukee's a small market team and Seattle is kind of like a small market team. Okay, so the networks they won't get all that big crowd around the northeastern part of the United States. Philadelphia, New York, Boston, all that area around there, where all
Right.
the households are at. So they don't like that for the ratings. But I would like, I'd like to see Milwaukee and Seattle. I really
Yeah.
would, but I think it's not going to be Milwaukee. I think the Dodgers pitching and their depth of talent on that team is their eighth place hitter hit 27 homers this year,
Yeah.
you know, and so, but Tani especially, he's great, and like I said before, the Freddie Freeman, he's always doing something great, and
Yeah.
you know, and ex Cardinal Tommy Edman. He won the most valuable player last year in the World Series and the playoffs, and he's on his track. He's on track now to do it again this year.
Yeah. So you think it's LA's to lose, really, right? At the end of the day,
I
you think
think so. I
LA's
think
going to
it's
take?
going to be really tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then Milwaukee being out of town like that, and the Dodgers have hometown advantage.
Right.
And
How
so,
many World Series have the Dodgers won?
boy, I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
Yankees won the World Series. Yankees got the most. I think they got like 24. And then the Cardinals are right behind them. And I
Hmm.
think the Dodgers are right behind the Cardinals.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it's just, the LA scene, I mean, I, they have a good ballpark. I mean, the the Brew Crew ballpark in Milwaukee is it's one of those stadiums that, the you can have the roof open or closed, right?
Right.
It's a beautiful stadium. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with the stadium, and so is the crowd. But the Dodger Stadium in October, the way the weather is and stuff out there, and
Yeah.
that's a pitcher's ballpark too.
Yeah.
Milwaukee isn't much of a pitcher's ballpark, but L.A. I think L.A. is probably gonna.
Yeah. And they're a big
Yeah,
media market, right? They're a big media market.
that's what the networks want.
Right.
The only trouble is that if Seattle and the Dodgers get in the World Series, it's going to be all screwed up when they're going to
Hmm.
play because see, they're going to be 3 hours behind the East Coast,
Right.
so it'll be 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in California, but it'll be 11
Oh
o'clock
gosh.
in New York. See?
That's right, Doug. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
oh, that's not good. You're gonna have to get a sleeping bag there in the Mac Cave,
yeah, and or as I call
unless
it now, the
Diva.
disappointment.
Hey, unless Diva lets you watch TV in the bedroom, but if she's like most women, turn that damn thing off. You know.
Now I take my iPad in there. We watch reruns of Perry Mason in there.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
we
didn't
love
think
Perry
about
Mason.
I didn't think about the 2 hour difference. Well, 3 hour difference if you're in
Three
the East
hours,
Coast,
3 hours.
right? Yeah.
Now the networks, the TV networks, would like Toronto and the Dodgers. They can
Yeah.
tolerate there because see, Toronto's in the Eastern time zone.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
but if it goes Seattle and L.A., they're not going to get any audience because of the
Oh my
the
gosh.
time difference. Because
The
but
time
they'll
difference.
have to start the game in L.A. They'll have to start the game about I don't know 6 o'clock, 5:30 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That should be good for traffic.
Yeah. Rush hour.
5:30 rush hour.
Oh my gosh.
Because
Yeah.
Chavez Ravine, okay, where the Dodgers play is a place called Chavez Ravine.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and the reason why once upon a time, that's where low income Hispanics lived.
Right.
Well, we can't have that. So when the Dodgers decide to move from Brooklyn to LA,
Yeah.
the city of LA decided those guys got to go, and we're going to give Chavez Ravine to the Dodgers free of charge. This is
Wow.
like 1958. Okay. So the reason why they picked that area because it's the 14, the 5, and the 60. They all trisect there.
Okay.
So you can go anywhere. You can go when the traffic's moving. You can go anywhere. You can go. You can go up to the high desert where I used to live at, or you could go out to Toronto, out to Ontario and Walnut, that area, Diamond Bar, all that area out there,
Hmm.
and you can go down Santa Ana in Southern California, down to Newport Beach and all that area on the 5. Okay, so that was an ideal situation.
Right.
So, but
Can't
at
blame him.
5:30, 6 o'clock at night, huh?
Can't blame him.
No, the Dodgers loved it. O'Malley loved it. O'Malley was the owner back then. He loved it. He got
Yeah.
his little empire out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
but
Well, let's. Yeah. Well, let's see what
so I guess
happens here.
see where we play tomorrow night is the Dodgers.
Let's see. Got to grab my phone. Of course, I have to take off my glasses now because I can't see.
8-2 now, Blue Jays.
8-2. Yeah.
Yeah, Seattle's not going to come back after that. It's going
No.
to be tough.
Yeah.
Bottom of the 5th.
Bottom of the fifth. 8-2. Not good.
So we play Dodgers tomorrow night. Seattle's probably tomorrow night. By the weekend, we should know who's going to be in the World Series.
Yeah, that game tomorrow starts at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Looks like that's what. Yeah. Tomorrow it starts at 5 p.m., which I assume that's 5 p.m. their time, right?
Yeah.
Which would be 7 o'clock our
Time
time.
or 8 o'clock East Coast time.
Yeah.
The East Coast is the only thing that counts. Just ask them.
Yeah.
You know, that Northeast corridor of the United States, they're the most important people. Just ask them. You know, where's this a
Oh,
flyover state over here?
yeah. Yeah, we're just flyover. We don't count.
Where's this flyover state?
Yeah. So
Especially in the Rio Grande Valley,
that's right. We don't even
as
exist.
John Wayne
So.
would say, Rio Grande.
All right,
So,
Doug. Well, let's see what happens tonight. Let's see what happens tomorrow. And we'll be back here in a few days to
yeah,
talk about.
if you know anybody needs a job, you can probably apply for all the major league managers openings. You know, San Diego lost their manager. Okay, Texas hired Skip Schumacher, and there's a lot of other teams. There's a lot of teams out there looking for managers right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Well, some of the
All
good
right.
news is that can we talk briefly about the see? Well, we can talk about some other time, but there's a award called the Golden Glove
Uh-huh.
for the best defensive ball player.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cardinals put 2 on the list: Mason
Ah.
Wynn and Victor Scott,
Yeah.
and that'll come
What
out the
is?
next couple of days.
Yeah. What is the criteria to win?
Gold Glove. It's voted. See, is it voted by the sports writers? Let me look here. 30 MLB managers add up to, okay. The managers and the coaches select them.
Ah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. So, Mason Wynn is, I talk about Mason Wynn quite a bit. He's a Cardinal shortstop. Probably our only superstar that we have left. I think he's not quite the superstar, but will be. And then Victor Scott plays center field. This is his first year. He's a rookie. He's pretty good too, but can't hit very well. But he is a good fielder.
Yeah.
Not yet,
All right.
but anyway, yeah, it's they're out. So
Yeah.
I like they'll probably announce that after the All Star after the World Series. So what
Yeah.
they do in the World Series, you know, all these major league teams they all go to the World Series, and they have meetings at the World Series when they're not playing baseball, and
Mm,
then they interview managers because everybody, if you're in baseball, you go to the World Series,
right.
okay, and that's where they usually interview the managers from.
Yeah.
So there'll be some announcements after the World Series.
Yeah. All right, Doug. Well, that's
Okay.
it for tonight. We'll be back in a few days. We'll see what happens tonight. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And everybody, this was it for episode number 8 of Doug's Dugout. But we'll be back in a couple of days to get a clearer picture of who's in and who's out and who's headed to the World Series. So you've heard
Yeah. By
Doug's
this time next week,
predictions.
we should. Yeah. By
Yeah.
this time next week, we should know who's going to be in the World Series.
Yep. Doug's crystal ball has already made a prediction. Let's see if he's right. If he does, if he does get it right, then the next thing he'll have to provide are the lotto numbers.
Seattle and the Dodgers.
Yep. Alrighty, Doug.
Okay.
Alrighty, everyone. Thank you all
See
for
you later.
watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Brownsville Tech Live. Also, follow us on Facebook on Brownsville Tech Live and on 956 Live. And then go out to Doug's channel, which is Bike Trek, correct?
Right. And leave some
Yep.
comments on this. We welcome some comments. Get a little
Yep.
dialogue started.
Get a little dialogue. The comment lines were open, but if you want to chime in afterwards, you can do that as well. So
And give us a few likes too on top of that.
give us a few likes, right?
Or
And especially
no likes if you don't.
subscribes.
Yep.
Especially subscribes on YouTube.
Yep.
Alrighty, everybody. Doug,
Okay,
have a
Danny.
great,
See you later.
great evening. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.